Hey everyone, and welcome back. I've got 5 packages plus a bonus one. This one here will be at the end, not electronics related. I'll let you know when that happens. But for now, let's open some packages. Gonna get this big one out of the way first. This was an Amazon purchase, came up to $15. I've been looking for one of these for a little while, but usually they're kind of junk. And they're really expensive. This one here I think is kind of junk, but not expensive. So I'm interested to see how junk it is. And also, yeah, since this was from Amazon, I can just send her back. So what do we have here? We've got some fairly thin wire going to a cigarette lighter plug. Just checking if this thing has a fuse. It doesn't seem to. No fuse. So an unfused lead is already starting us off on the wrong foot, it seems. We've got thicker wire. Yeah, this is actually far thicker wire going to some alligator clips. And then the device itself. This is a power inverter. Now, a power inverter is supposed to take 12 volts from a battery and output AC voltage on it, mains voltage. Now, why this was crazy cheap, I think, is because it was rated for 4,000 watts, and then the seller derated it down to not very much. It was, I think, 600 watts, probably following a bunch of negative reviews. So this thing is crusty as hell, but I think that will be the fun, is to figure out just how crusty, basically. Yeah, I'm a little terrified of this thing, but we're going to give it a shot. Now, I'm only going to power it up here and just see if it does anything at all. I'm not going to put it through its paces. That'll be its own video, and I think that'll be entertaining in and of itself. These cables don't look too bad, but these guys are terrible. I do have a crazy massive battery, and I do have solar projects on the way. So that's one of the reasons I picked this up. Well, one of the reasons I was looking for one. But I also would like a really inexpensive, small thing like this to use maybe like 80 watts max. And if this thing can output 80 watts, then I think I'm good with that. Like, I'm alright. I'm a little sketched out here. And, oh yeah, another thing about these things is they typically have really big input capacitors. And so they have a lot of inrush currents. They make massive sparks when you hook them up to a battery. So I'm going to try to hook them up to my read-in power supply here. I'm not sure how successful I'll be at that. But we'll see. And I like the read-in because I can plug this in and then turn it on. I set. We're going to give this the full beans. Let's go 15 amps. And contact. Okay, so just turning on, it gives me 6 watts of standby power, which is pretty nuts. Let's see if we can shove something into the outlet here, because this says 115, 116. Let's start with a capable meter here. So let's just shove this into here. Oh yeah, 114 volts AC. Okay. Now I guess I need, let's see if the other one's the same. Yeah, also 114. And the input is 12 volts, that's what I got there. We've got some, yeah, I'm always afraid of these things. I never know if they're going to be live at mains voltage. Okay, I need something cheap to plug into here so I can see if they work, but I don't risk it. What about some string lights that I've never reviewed? what's this say? This will use a 1/4 amp. Contact. Oh, it's working. So this puts out a modified sine wave. It does not put out a pure sine wave, which kind of sucks. But it seems to work, and this is exactly the type of thing I want. Like string lights, for example. I want to show off what they look like outside, but I don't want to show you guys what my backyard looks like. So I want to hop in the car, head down to where I go testing the snow speeder, and show you a couple of these things. And something like this would work just perfectly for stuff like that. I don't need it to be precise or good or anything like that. I just need something that I can use in the field. And my power draw is now increased to 13 watts. And when I unplug it back to 1/2 amp, almost 6 watts. And this here is 5 watts, so that does follow. So that's good. They light up. It works. So if you want to see the inside and the waveform, how crusty it is, let me know in the comments below, and I'm going to make a video on this. If you're not too interested, then maybe I'll just post it to Patreon. On to the next one. Next one up is this one here. March 30th to April 21st, and we don't have any indication what's inside because of the new shipping methods used to get these things to Canada. There is a customs declaration, it's just like way underneath. Oh yeah, okay. So these are these ball joints, and I have a project that I think I spoke about on my podcast. Yeah, so okay, so this is basically has a M8 threads on here, and then it's got this sort of hardened steel ball, and it's sitting inside of a bronze bushing. And this is just so that you can have something move all around like this and still be supported. Okay, so I bought 2 of these, because usually when you buy one, you should just buy 2. And this thing was, $3 each, so it wasn't too bad. This is going to be part of a project that I've already started, and I'm going to have to get a couple more parts for it. But good to know these things are in. But yeah, this is for a mechanical linkage, and I'm trying to build myself a controller, so maybe that will spark some ideas on what this could be. But yeah, these things are made down to a price. Look, the holes aren't drilled centered. The casting isn't even the same on these things. It's quite crazy how these things are built down to a price. But then again, they were only $3 a pop. Yeah, I wouldn't use this as like a suspension piece in an actual car, because it feels like a little bit of force can pop that ball right out. But yeah, it's neat that you get these mechanical parts on AliExpress for really cheap. And if you can think of what kind of controller I'm building, let me know in the comments. I am already starting to work on it, so it won't be one of these like generational projects like my other ones. These things should be done within the next month or 2. Next one up is this one here. This one is also for a controller of a similar vein, but not the same. $24.25. This is going to feel expensive when it comes out of the box, I'm sure. But the fact is, this is a knockoff. And the original is 10 times that price, which is kind of hard to believe that something could be the exact same part, just original, and 10 times that price. Yeah, this is what I thought it was. Look at that. Okay, so first and foremost, one of these little coupler things. And then this guy here. And then a little book. There we go, E6B2. and a little Allen key for doing up this thing. Alright, so this is a shielded... oh wow. Sorry, I just never held something like high quality like this in my hands. This is a rotary encoder. So it sends pulses through these wires to a microcontroller so that you can know the exact position that this shaft is in, rotation wise. And the reason I reacted when I grabbed this is because this shaft moves so smoothly. This is plastic. I kind of feel like taking this apart, but I'm not sure if that's going to cause any issues. It says, do not impact on shaft or product. Yeah, pretty interesting. So this one gives 1,000 pulses per turn. You give it 5 to 24 volts DC. The blue is 0 ground common. The shield is ground. That makes sense. And then the black, white, and orange are your 3 outputs. So output A, output B, and output Z. And I think how this works is that there's a series of pulses, like a series of edges, and output A and B, depending on which one comes first, is how you determine the direction it's spinning. But output Z, I believe that is a center pulse. So you can center your thing out and then tell your microcontroller it's in the middle. And it'll return to that every time. That's really interesting. I really want to open this, but I'm afraid of ruining it because it was kind of 25 bucks. So anyways, this is for a different controller than these ball joints, but they're all related to each other. So again, if you've been like really paying attention to what I've been up to lately, you would have an idea what's going on with this. But my God, this thing feels smooth. Wow. As the kids say, YOLO. Let's open this thing. Hopefully I don't wreck it. Hopefully nothing goes springing all over the place and I lose parts or whatever. But yeah, anyways, the originals of these are like $200 and something each, I think, or maybe even it was more. I don't remember. So these are knockoffs, but apparently they're really good for doing the job. Okay, so these wires are kind of tight in there. There we go. Oh. What am I looking at here? Sorry, you're not in focus. It's optical? Yeah. So that's optical. So you see the LED there, it's shining down onto the board, and if you can just make out in there, there is a sort of like a piece of plexiglass or plastic that has been printed with some stuff on it. I doubt I can get you much closer. No, I don't think so. Wow. So that's interesting. So there's only a single bearing. There's only the one in the snout here. Well, there might be two. One on the inside, one on the outside. This part here is aluminum. This part's aluminum. It's mounted on these pillars. There's all sorts of support circuitry. Neat. I think that's too much for me to figure out all at once, but yeah. Oh. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a daughter board soldered on top, which must be the receptor for the light. Very cool. Also, it looks like there's missing an O-ring. Looks like there should be an O-ring here for waterproofing. But before I damage this thing, just going to shut it. Actually, not, I wouldn't say waterproofing now that I think about it. Probably more like dust proofing. So this thing might gather dust without an O-ring, so I might just get an O-ring for it. But yeah, it looks neat on the inside. And so yeah, this will be part of a project. This one specifically, unfortunately, one of the major parts was available on Amazon for a lot of money. So I figured I would wait and see if I can get some sponsorship dollars and then buy it. But as it turns out, what I thought was a lot of money is actually cheap compared to what it's going for now. So yeah, I bought a lot of parts. I didn't buy the main part that I needed, and now I'm kind of SOL, shit out of luck, basically, until that part comes back down in cost. It just sucks, but it's just part of what it is when you're not working full-time for the last long time. But anyways, it doesn't matter. I'm going to see if I can get some sponsorship dollars together and get this project on the road. I'm not too concerned. This project here is higher priority for me. This one here could be a winter type project, but I'm definitely excited to try this thing on an Arduino and see what we can glean from it, because I think that'll be pretty cool to play with a super precise rotary encoder. Next one up, this one here. I genuinely don't remember what it is in here, but I'm assuming it's going to be small because the envelope is pretty flat, so I stayed zoomed in. $10.27, March 30th to April 1st? 21st. It's only a few days ago. You'd think I'd remember. Oh, neat. They're not even in a bag or anything. They just kind of yeeted everything into the package here. So these are standard Microswitches, but they're the kinds with the little roller on it. And if it helps you at all, they're part of this project too. You can use regular Microswitches, but the person who did the design for the 3D printed parts specified these kinds of Microswitches. And so I bought some, but also think they're a good idea because as you can tell by the fact that I have these, there's going to be a physical something that has to go and, this means there's mechanical build. It's going to have to go press on the switch, and I think the little roller will give me a little bit better contact and a little bit more chance of, not ruining the switch, but having a little bit of extra play there. So that's cool. I got 20, I think. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 25, 35? I lost count. I'm exhausted, so it's been a rough month. But yeah, a bunch of these Microswitches. And yeah, they're going to go into this project, but they're also going to be used in different projects. You can use these for end switches for CNCs or for 3D printers, stuff like that. It's really good to have some Microswitches on hand. I already had the type with the lever, now I have the type with the roller. So more types of stuff means more better. So there were 35 of those switches on the last one. I was a bit confused because 35 is an odd number. Turns out I had ordered 25, so I got 10 extras. Oh well. Here's the last electronics one. So after this one, if you want to hop to the end, if you want to skip the next one, because you have spoken and off-topic stuff should be in this on this channel. So when I have off-topic stuff, I'll let you guys know so you can skip the last item if you want. But this one is electronics related, at least I think so. March 28th to April 20th, $18.85. Why the hell am I spending so much money? Probably because this is going on a sponsored project. No, it isn't actually going on a... Well, I mean, it might end up on a sponsored project. This is in the vein of a while ago I built a discrete motor driver through my sponsor, PCBWay, and this was the discrete motor driver there. These here, these used, just regular transistors. These here are high current MOSFETs apparently, so IRFB3806, and I'll have to look up the data sheets on those. But yeah, they were a bit expensive, but I got a bunch here, and they're supposed to be high current, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, yeah, 20 would make sense. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Let me check the data sheet. Okay, these are logic level, sort of. They have a 4-volt gate turn-on voltage. They have 43 amps of maximum current, so I think what I was thinking is I would put 2 in parallel for each section of the H-bridge, sort of, like so. And then that should give me a theoretical maximum of 86, but I think if I tried to underrun them a bit to, make them last longer, so it would be like a powerful H-bridge. So basically an upgrade from this circuit board. And I think they'll be pretty fun to play with. Always like high current MOSFET things. Want to have some in stock. They were a bit expensive, but I've never played with these and MOSFET drivers. So I have some MOSFET drivers on the way as well. So we're going to see what kind of high currents we can achieve messing with a bunch of these. We might even put these in screw terminals or something like that. Or solder them flat to a board and try to put a bunch in parallel and see how much current we can really move. But yeah, that's the plan for these, is just to have fun with high current stuff. So I'm going to move on to the non-electronics item. Skip to the timestamp written right there if you're not interested in non-electronic stuff. So for the last one, we've got this one here. $12.24, March 31st to April 26th, and we do have information. Artificial bait. So this did come in before the opening of pike season, which is fantastic. Oh, looks like we got some bonus stuff. I'll have to check if everything that is in here I paid for, or if they sent some bonus stuff, because I feel like these grubs here are bonus. But yeah, fishing is an expensive hobby, but as it turns out, buying stuff from China is really inexpensive. So I got some pretty big lures here, and they were cheap, so it's $12 for all of these, and I think there's 5. Yeah, 5. So they're just over $2 each, which is cheaper than the bargain bin at Walmart, and cheaper than the store branded Bass Pro lures. So let's see the quality here. Now I'm planning, paint chips? Oh, paint chips stuck to it, but they're not, it's not flaking off. That's interesting. Oh, that one there is chipped. Weird. You know what? Fish really don't care. So yeah, this stuff is supposed to be going in the river. So I got some fairly deep diving ones in some colors that I think would be successful. So red here to emulate a crayfish. We have crayfish in our natural waters here. These hooks are a little small. They are razor sharp though, which is good. These hooks might be a little small for the pike season. Bass tend to really swallow their prey, so you'll get that hooked in a bass no problem. So when bass season opens, that won't be a problem. They also have a rattle. So I got gold because we have walleye in the water. I don't know how solid this is, but it'll be interesting to see how well it holds up. We've got this sort of hollow color. There we go. Sort of holographic. That's because we have bait minnows all over. So that's pretty good. Plus a little bit of green, so it does look a little bit like a bass on the back. We've got this chartreuse, which I learned to say last time. This is just good because we have kind of dark water. So chart really shows up well. And I think this color scheme is called Fire Tiger in general. Looks like I should buy some trebles from China just to replace these guys. But fishing won't end here, by the way. I am planning on... Oh, look, they're actually open from the bottom. Whoops. I am planning on 3D printing some fishing lures and doing a challenge on that. So a couple challenges. I will do a fishing with... Oh, wow, this one's pretty because it's completely see-through. Huh. Yeah, so I'm going to do a challenge with fishing with AliExpress soft plastics, which will now include these guys too. Fishing with AliExpress hard baits, so these guys, crankbaits. Yeah, look at that little single tail, very small. And another challenge, which will be fishing with my own design 3D printed lures. And all of this will be on my second channel, Secondary. So make sure you're subscribed to that channel if you want to see that challenge. That's also where I'm going to put the miscellaneous stuff. Most of my Patreons already know about the miscellaneous stuff. But now, if you want to know, just head over there and hit that subscribe. And so this stuff makes up today's mailbag. I'm actually pretty excited to do a video about this. I'm going to make it whether or not you guys want it, but it'll depend where I post it or what order I post it, depending on how excited you guys are. But I'm pretty hyped to see what's inside here. This is not a 4,000 watt inverter for sure, but for $15, as long as it works somewhat, I think it's worth the money. This thing too will be interesting, but I'll have to write some code, and that's a problem for me. I'm not a very code savvy person. And this just means, well, more PCBs, more experimentation. So let me know what you're the most excited about in all this. Let me know if you're going to subscribe or not to Secondary. And yeah, let me know in the comments what's going on in your life. Thanks for watching.